predict is an incredible first semi-final to kick us off.
Oh, it's going to be an absolute barn buster, and I love that we're already getting all of these storylines ready before the game even gets going. A game of chicken in the veto. Who's going to ban Overpass? Who's going to ban Train? I was actually super worried that someone was just going to let one of them slip, and we were potentially going to go into what would be a very chalky decider. But this veto, by large, for me, massively favors MIBR. They've picked Ancient 3 times against Furia, and they've beaten Furia 3 times on LAN, online, and Nuke. Even though this is one of Sakura's best map outside of Mirage, MIBR, they are no slouches on this, and notoriously, this has been one of their best maps.
All right, well, let's dive straight into it. Is now Danny here from the Heaven position, getting a couple of pot shots in. She's got a teammate with her to hold her hands. It's Younger, in fact, who gets that first kill, but Sakura now have space on the site already. That bomb's going to be planted, and that's already a huge achievement to get done in this pistol round. Fawx now going to follow that up, even out the numbers a little bit here, but Raven quick to fall by the wayside. Gabby on a little bit of the lurk there. She's going to get run down eventually. Meanwhile, Fawx, just an absolute nightmare, but Olga has arrived, and she is not someone that you can count out. Taps the bomb for the swing. Battle Serendipity wins the battle, and the pistol round goes in favor of MIBR.
I'm already loving it. You've got Fawx hitting down 3. You've got Olga clutching up a 1 versus 2 and also completing a 3K. You've got these individuals who have been performing at the highest level so far in this tournament already coming out to bat. This is just going to create such an exciting game. And I want to actually head back to that Nuke conversation I was mentioning. Sure, this is Sakura's second best map outside of Mirage. And even though when you go on HLTV and you check MIBR and you're like, oh, they've only played it 3 times. With Goddess, over the last couple of years in ESL Impact, this has been their best map. Sure, the team has changed a little bit, but we saw them pick into it in the regular season, and you could see Olga fit into Goddess's roles, but pack a much bigger punch. This is a map that, in my opinion, we were going to see. I knew we were going to see it this finals, and it was going to be their dark horse map.
Olga, unfortunately, taking that first contact, but getting shut down. Younger gets 1, but is very quick to follow her teammate. Sakura now have given themselves a lot of space to work with. MIBR pretty split at this point. They've still got 1 down secret, which means that this A site is a lot easier to breach. Oh my god, nice little flick there from Raven. Good swing, gets Gabby down and out, and now with a 2-player advantage, it seems nigh on. Okie dokie. What? Danny comes up from secret, doubles up with Poppins, and suddenly we're in a 1v1 all over again. Poppins has picked up a Galil, and what looked like was going to be a done and dusted round. With the bomb lost and so close to where Poppins is standing, Raven has a tall ask in front of her. She's already managed to get 2 kills this round. 1 more is what is required. And Poppins has that inkling, has that idea of where this last player is. With 30 seconds remaining, Poppins knows she has to go for the A site and will not allow it to happen. A scary round for MIBR, but a phenomenal recovery.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow. 2 versus 4. I was sitting here and I was going to come out of that round thinking, what a great read, what a great call. It was a set play that Sakura seemingly knew exactly where to aim, when to fight, and I was thinking, he's done it again, Mr. Ink. He's done it again. He's just called it perfectly. And it was going perfectly until Poppins and Danny accidentally create this dastardly crossfire at range with MP9s. That is a pretty big fumble from Sakura, and that is not the start that they would have wanted. And especially if we're talking about how empathy is a little bit ill, how they haven't had those best of 3s to invigorate themselves. Not starting on the right foot can be very damaging.
Go into this first timeout already, 2 rounds in. I will just let everyone know, Freddy's become quite a big Ink fan. Ink was already a big Freddy fan, so we were like, oh, let's introduce them. I kid you not, Affinity, Heku, and I sat on the floor staring at the 2 of them nerding out about Counter-Strike for like 40 minutes. It was...
Like an hour. It was definitely over an hour. It was...
You know, I was trying to be kind, but I'm glad that you've just outed it for what it really was.
That was great insight. He's a really, really cool guy, and you can... I think it's no surprise that Sakura are doing well.
We'll see how much more they can get done here. Unfortunately, it is a pistol round once again. We talk about early utility damage and how much of a difference that can make. And MIBR have really been winning that game so far in this first half. And, well, Poppins doesn't need utility. MP9 goes absolutely mental. And while they do get one back, it's MIBR with a nice, firm, solid lead. But here's the big thing. It's a gun round.
Ooh, interesting to see that no AWP gets delved into for Younger. Poppins gets 3 kills with the MP9, so that's an extra $1,800. Sure, she does die, but she did have the funds to buy an AWP. Maybe it would have been a little bit difficult getting all the util. So it's interesting to see that MIBR haven't prioritized getting that AWP out, and instead going with 4 rifles and that SMG on Olga. Sakura outside, but speaking of that SMG on Olga, look at her go! They have no idea what's just hit them!
That flash was outstanding! Perfectly timed. She cracks or creeps through the crack. Completely unseen, unnoticed. 3 kills, spray down. And there's a part of me, so you were talking about the AWP, and I thought to myself, well, maybe it's we don't want to get overconfident with our economy kind of scenario, right? Like, we could go for the big investment, but if something goes wrong in this round, we end up on a severe back foot, and you don't want to put yourself in that position against a team like Sakura. So maybe, knowing that they were going to go for some kind of crazy set play like that, they get the crazy extra money from Olga with the MP9, and into the next round, there's an opportunity. I'm not holding on. Poppins isn't holding on. We go next, and now I think we see that AWP come out.
I was actually a little bit worried at how you didn't seem to be worried whatsoever about that round. I was like, this is still a 2 versus 3, and, you know, you never want to count them out, but that is a statement of intent from MIBR, a tone setter. That flashbang, they were just dabbing. Olga, at 1 minute and 40 seconds, was fighting them in T-spawn. That is ridiculous. She's not only already clutched up a 1 versus 2, but has now got 2 triple kills. And Poppins, a player who's maybe been a little bit quieter at times, look at her go. This time, Gabby tested over towards Ramp, and even though she's only good for that first, the rotations are apt. There's 2 defenders already down towards the B-bomb site. Poppins does fall, and hold on a second, this is getting a little bit hairy.
2 versus 2, and what's so scary is after that 2v4, like you said, you can't count anything out here. Now, yes, they are dangerously low HP, but with this pivot, Bomb is going to get planted, but everything is going to have to be so perfect for the next few moments for them. They don't have any utility except for the 1 flash.
They don't expect Fawx. Look at Fawx getting aggressive and active outside. Younger caught with a knife out.
Now Danny has to clutch. She knows where at least one is. Well, she should know where both are. Oh my god! No idea where Fawx is repositioned to. Takes full advantage of the chaos. And 2 low HP Sakura players turn things around in the most unlikely way.
Look at Fawx go. She knows that she needs to make an assertive play, and she does that. I have to question mark, though, this B-site defense. How have MAC-10s been able to isolate Poppins and Olga in that scenario when they also have the range advantage? It felt like everything was going right for MIBR. Sure, Gabby only gets 1 kill at Ramp, but the nade does about 250 damage. That is a heartbreaker around, and potentially one that Sakura can snowball on.
And deciding not to buy into that AWP previously may just be a saving grace for their economy going forward. They did obviously be able to buy into it now again, but it's because they held on to that extra little bit of cash. Give them that opportunity here to try again. We'll see if Younger has the opportunity to wake up. Sakura going for the outside push once more. The smoke wall giving them the cover they need. The HE's not quite giving the vision that they'd like. They're wrapping in around Olga. Olga has no idea.
But on the flip side, Sakura have no idea that MIBR have all of the control towards lobbies. That's allowed for Gabby to early rotate down towards the B-bomb site, joined by Younger, because Danny is just post up with the MP9, and because Serendipity is playing so passive, which isn't a bad thing though, she just has no information.
But look at how they're just getting full control of the outside. But again, it's because they don't know. There's an inkling. You can see she keeps kind of checking, looking for somebody that's hiding.
This is a big gap.
See if Olga can find that moment, because she's looked away. There's a timing here.
Poppins is holding for heaven, though.
Oh my god, Olga gets spotted out. Now the outside is utterly free and clear for the opening. Younger gets the kill onto STX, so finally that does come to fruition. Empathy is going to get the kill onto Danny. Serendipity's found her way around. It's absolute chaos. But the Sakura ladies, with a very solid contact play, have left Gabby all alone to try and salvage this round. And it doesn't look like it's going to be any sort of a possibility with no kit in hand, one smoke, and 3 players to try and fight against. It's the upgrade to the AK and the retreat back to spawn.
Sakura don't realize how lucky and how fortunate they are to get away with that round. It was a magnificent call for specifically STX to be getting all of that map control and to be getting through Heaven. Sure, she doesn't succeed and ends up dying very instantly on Heaven, but because she got that map control, she called for Sakura to then go on to that A bomb side. However, you have to put a question mark and get a microscope and look at Olga's positioning and how unaware she was of the possibility of them being outside. It felt like she got timing very hard on the jiggles, but that whole round was basically like, Olga, you can't die. You need to control this space. And unfortunately, she dies extremely quickly. Same with Danny and Door. It was a great set round from MIBR, but when they got into the late round, it just fell apart very, very quickly. And that's why we're getting this tactical pause. We're getting the coach on the mic just to be like, that round was good. You did everything correct. Just make sure we don't fall apart in the last 30 seconds again.
Yeah, and also don't let that get to your heads. Don't panic now because a round where we did everything right fell apart. Got to keep your head in the game.
Because it's 2 tilting rounds back to back.
Yeah.
You have that, oh, we've just lost to Tech 9s and Mac 10s at range. Oh, we've just lost a round where we had the right read, but we kind of lost to ourselves.
And I think that's one of the strengths of the Sakura roster, is the fact that they can get these rounds and, you know, when they probably shouldn't, and that could cause a lot of dissension in the camp if a team isn't as together as we hope for them to be. This is an important game. Letty was talking about it on the desk. Semi-finals, very, very important. You can't allow yourself to slip or get complacent. So here we go once again, Sakura with the outside push. Completely unseen, it feels like, but the fact that it is, of course, pistols means that there's not too much that we can really expect to come out of this round. I do like that Sakura continued to play this carefully, showing that respect. Again, knowing how important the semi-final is for that possibility to get to the grand final, but still looking very confident. They have control over the entire map here, and with that second kill to come through, never mind, 3rd kill, 4th kill, jeez, everybody just fell apart. And Fawx, casually, on 11-4 at the moment.
Yeah, I think she's got basically a triple or double kill in every single round that she's got a kill. And especially when you look at the first round that Sakura won, that 2 versus 3, 2 versus 2 was only fruitful because of Fawx and her heads-up play. It would have been a completely different story if she didn't mobilize like she did. But MIBR, they had that lead. They won the first gun round, but it's a 1-round affair. And back to getting aggressive outside, Olga is pushing very far up. Do they realize, will STX realize Olga is right beneath her?
They've seen this play before. Do they really?
Olga hears all of this, by the way.
Yeah. Do they think there's a world in which something similar happens? Yeah, not going for the same crazy aggression that we saw from them previously, playing off of that flash. That's the kind of thing you get to do once. We're 1 round away from evening out the scoreline here, and MIBR, you can certainly see the cracks, but Olga has started to, I say wake up. It's not like she's been asleep.
She has got 2 triple kills.
Yeah. She's doing the do.
It's been live by the sword, die by the sword type thing.
Well, this round, she certainly lives. Gives themselves that opener, and of course retreats immediately. Again, Sakura with a very slow play here. STX has already made it down secret, completely unnoticed. She's going to clear that B bomb side basically for free. Gabby holding the ramp position here. Fawx missing a shot that normally would be pretty fair pickings for her. And this round has fallen apart. MIBR, that timeout seems to have paid off dividends. They've already taken down 3 of the players. Now, 2v5, Olga crazy low HP. You could almost call it a 2v4. We've been here before, Brady. And Fawx is trying to make this that even kilter. But they make the right call here. They back away. Maybe they could do it. but why risk it?
A phenomenal round from MIBR, and if you compare and contrast the previous gun round, very similar setups of the round is going well, but this time the individuals also connect. Olga getting aggressive outside with the support of Younger, able to neutralize that aggression, and then instantaneously, as soon as they get that kill outside, they retreat, they give up that outside control. Sure, STX gets down secret. What does that matter though when you've got 3 players basically rotated towards ramp? MIBR read Sakura like a textbook. We were praising Ink, we were praising his folder and all his notes. MIBR, currently, they seem to have a pretty good read on this game.
That being said, T-side Nuke, Sakura really only need 1 round to give them a good shot into the next half. And even with 3, I think, given the caliber of this team, we're still in scary territory. So the onus really is on MIBR here to rake in as many more rounds as they possibly can. And with that pressure on top of them, I hope that they don't start to crumble under it. But they're looking good so far. They've had a good read, like you said. It's going to be another outside push. It's starting to look maybe a little bit too telegraphed. I mean, it's worked quite often and it's gotten them a lot of results, but I hope he doesn't.
Smokes are fading. Younger should see them.
Oh, timing. Oh my god. Okay, unfortunate. Younger, too many targets, too many people to aim at. Does get caught out. Yes, the smokes are gone. They don't have any cover, but that outside presence has been mowed down. Now it's going to be down to Olga. She has that information. Hears the gunfire, knows that they're here, basically on top of her. Repositioned slightly to have a bit of an advantage, but again, Sakura, slow down. I'm loving the slow style from them, but down to 45 seconds, we have to commit.
They are going to link up with Serendipity and go towards the A bomb site. There's 2 players who have committed down towards B. This round lives and dies with Danny and Poppins.
Still the potential lurk as well that may yet activate and ruin MIBR's numbers. But here we go, the fight on the site kicks off. Olga with a double, looking for the third, and she does. Nasty little dink there, and that lurk doesn't even get a chance to activate. A 1v3 here required for Raven. Does get spotted out. The HE chunks her down to half health, and she has to back away. There's nothing more that can be done. MIBR looked a little scary, but they hold fast.
Sometimes Counter-Strike doesn't really make sense. When you've got 2 anchors who, I will say, looked a little bit jittery there, I was thinking as soon as Poppins gets traded 1-for-1, that's going to be round over. Danny's going to be caught off by Serendipity, and they're just going to crunch onto the bomb site. I said that round lived and died with Danny and Poppins. I didn't account for the fact that Olga's in the server. And apparently, just running up the vent and killing 3 players with 1 magazine is possible. It's a massive oversight from Sakura. And to be honest, I don't blame the fact that they didn't expect that.
I mean, the fact that Olga gets that third is nasty. You can see like how crazy and erratic the rifle is swinging and the headshot lands.
I just don't get how she's been able to pull that off. Like that is the 3rd or 4th round she has won single-handedly.
Multi-kill monster. Good lord, she's lucky to be alive right now. She's been spotted, and despite knowing where she is, she still gets an opening kill, follows it up with the second. Olga, this was the woman that we have been waiting for, and she has stepped up, but now Fawx and STX are battling back. Olga gets wrapped on, and now we're in a 3v3.
MIBR have been struggling outside. Sakura have been taking that space, but it felt like this was where it all fell apart. Olga, I thought she'd done enough. Danny also being caught off guard, and now it's a stalemate. The dust settles. Who moves first? Sakura do actually have a way down onto the B bomb site, but instead, Younger over-aggresses into Fawx crosshair, 3 HP, but still kicking and fighting. And they're still just freezing. They're letting MIBR make the mistakes. They know they have to eradicate this offset, and that's exactly why Sakura are just holding for them, but Gabby gets the timing and drops the bomb and knows Fawx is still outside.
This is terrifying. Gabby repositions now. The bomb has been recovered.
Poppins hears all of this. A well-placed microphone to comm over to a teammate. They're still outside. They've mollied Secret. They're going A.
She can hear the footsteps as well. She's in such a prime position, but Gabby, she's terrified of getting flanked on, terrified of getting timing. Now Poppins goes for the information, gets caught out, spots up. Both can comm that over to Gabby, but Gabby gets put down by Fawx. And Sakura find a 4th. What a crazy round.
That is just individual prowess. getting Sakura out of this difficult situation. Fawx with another triple kill. I actually don't really understand how she is consistently able to get away with this. And yeah, that is a bit of a fumble from MIBR. They did so well. It's the second time that they've built up the round successfully, and yet when it comes down to the final and 11th hour, Sakura's aim is it is the main reason why they win. I said Fawx, in my opinion, was the 4th best AWPer in ESL Impact. Every single game I watch of her, she's just getting bumped up one more place.
She's been incredible. It really does feel like the Fawx and Olga story so far, because let's face it, Younger hasn't really, I mean, when you're coming up against an AWPer like Fawx, you're gonna struggle to put up similar numbers. So Olga,
T-side AWPing.
Yeah, I shudder to think what that CT side is gonna look like. And it looks like Sakura could very easily even out the half here, which is gonna put MIBR in a really, really uncomfortable spot. And with Olga going down already so early on in the round, that's the raid boss. That's the person that they've relied on so consistently to kind of keep them afloat in these rounds when everything goes awry. And Danny, quick to follow, leaves MIBR bleeding all their forces over towards the A site. It'll be the easiest B hit of their lives if they choose to, but no. They're gonna stamp some dominance into this round. It's about sending a message, folks. And the message is, there is not a site, there is not an avenue that we cannot take with sheer brute force. And I don't know, the power of God in anime as Poppins gets one, Younger tries desperately, but caught on the reload. Sakura get it done with 3 remaining. They break the economy, and we're last round of the half.
No money for MIBR. A pretty disappointing half, all things considered, when they had that 4-0 lead. And the rounds they've lost, you could definitely look back at them and go, we lost them to ourselves. It also doesn't help when Fawx on T-side AWPing is 18-5. It's the battle of the carries. And right now, especially in the head-to-head, Fawx v Olga, feels like Fawx is always winning out on those duels. But pedal to the metal, this is what's worked for MIBR. As 4 players instantly take lobby, Serendipity is able to relay all of that information over, and that's exactly why Sakura are speeding up. But instead of going down secret like MIBR would suspect, they're going to be wrapping heaven. And actually, MIBR, they are suspecting it. Maybe because Younger also hears all these pitter-patters.
You could have the best read in the world, but with an inferior buy, it's going to be an uphill battle. Not undoable, but certainly difficult. 3 players now huddled up from MIBR, waiting for an opening, an opportunity, a little bit of distraction from Younger. It's perfect! Poppins swings at just the right time to get the kill onto Raven. Olga follows her down, but Poppins, with that MP9, even from range, able to keep them in the numbers advantage. STX isolates both, but can't get the kill onto Younger. The spray gets erratic, and Younger manages to maintain control. They haven't been able to recover any of these rifles, though. They're so far out in the open, and it would be so dangerous to try to go for it. 30 seconds remain, and Sakura have to recover the bomb here, and they have to do it carefully. Oh, Serendipity gets spotted out. Gabby can't quite get the shots to connect, however. And that means the bomb does get recovered. They know that she's there, firing down, chipping away at the HP of these Sakura players, trying desperately to get Gabby off the board, and that they do, bringing it to a 2 versus 2. But Poppins is still on site. Poppins knows she gets the first one, and it's down to a 1v1, and somehow this is doable. Fawx caught sleeping at the wheel. Fawx is chasing her down, but there's nothing to be done. MIBR burn down the clock to take us into a 7-5 half.
Is they double peek?
Who's alive? Gabby and Poppins?
Yes. I'm gonna reload. Do you want to just like wrap heaven, like all 3 of us, or no?
I think us 2 can do it and Sylvie can drop, maybe.
Okay.
You used to make noise.
Probably one secret.
40 seconds. Lock her, lock her.
My blotto fucking blocked it. Block her.
I'm gonna grab bomb. What do you want to do?
30.
I'm top. I have to drop down. I'm just gonna make noise.
I have a molly.
I think we can walk secret.
I don't think so.
Okay.
It's ramp player or an A player?
Can you
I'm
watch like
walking
that?
out. I'm clearing side vent. Clear. Days are dead.
Last one
Heaven,
is blocked heaven.
Heaven. Can we go down?
Nice.
Nice. Huge round.
Good job taking it though. Even lot of luck.
Run for the course, stand for each other. There's no reason we can't recover from the cuts we cause. How we gonna break the fall? Run from the bullet, don't waste a minute. You take the blame when we try to forget it. Don't know it's us. How we gonna heal the scars? We take the blame. We're gonna see we were always the same. No, we can't change. Start putting the pieces together again. Start putting the pieces together again. Start putting the pieces together again. Run from the fire, reach for the cover. We try to hide and blame one another and say, let me down. How we gonna mend it now? What are we trying to prove? What if we got to lose? We take the blame. We're gonna see.
By the skin of their teeth, MIBR on their opposition's map pick take the lead at the half. And despite Fawx having a 4 KD, 156 ADR, 20-5, that is not enough for the lead.
And Empathy gets dropped in the first couple of moments. Now, of course, there are caveats and asterisks here. Empathy is not feeling very well today, but Fawx is more than making up for that
Trying her best.
potential issue. Ooh! Speaking of, gets one, does get traded, but gonna keep that into a slightly more contestable scenario. Now MIBR have control of the site, the bombs will be planted. The dualies unfortunately don't quite get the value that they were hoping for, and STX and Serendipity caught just the two of them alone. 2 versus 3. Seen them come back from worse. What a shot! Okay, this is suddenly doable. 2 versus, nope, 1 versus 1 is Younger gets the kill into heaven, has spotted out Serendipity waiting, hoping to get the shots, and she does. These rounds have been so anxiety-inducing, but MIBR come out on top of the second pistol.
Back-to-back clutches for Younger to deliver both pistols for MIBR. Younger, at the end of the first half, wins out default by time. It got a little bit sticky as well because she missed her movement, but this time there's no doubts. Previously rated as one of the best, or the best player in Brazil for 3 years running, has been overshadowed so far this tournament. That was her moment in the limelight, and she delivers when called upon.
Unfortunately, much more difficult to recover that economy after losing the pistol on the CT side, so Sakura don't really have too much to play with here. Very curious to see what the plan is going to be. It's a rush up secret, and dear God, okay, Danny with the back 10 from the top row.
Money, money, money.
Just slams through each of them. The funny part is that you've got Olga there next to her, taking all of the damage, trying desperately to just get one of the kills.
And I just started spraying. $1,800 for Danny, that's going to go a long way. And it's also good to see her getting that opening kill in the pistol round, getting that triple, getting a bit of confidence, because she had a pretty rough start to this event, but specifically against Atrix really showed her mettle with almost a 2KD, over 100 ADR, and a 1.49 HLTV rating, and that comes after on the back of an MVP performance in the regional scene. So this anchor, I have high hopes for, struggled in Stockholm. And right here, might need to step up again because Olga falls very quickly outside as MIBR accelerate down towards ramp.
Yeah, she basically just gets tapped through a smoke. That's terrifying. Poppins, however, cracks open the B site.
Oh no, bad molly. Oh, that almost killed Poppins. Molly.
That's a little bit scary, but that's okay. She lives. That's the most important part. They've got the site for free. No, not for free. They've had to battle for that one, but they have the site, the bomb planted, and it's all about this post.
Look at how much utility, like look at this smoke being dropped by Poppins. This just funnels them towards single, and that nade as well, so much. That's almost like 120 damage with one nade.
Quick math. All right. Oh, door gets opened. Smoke in the way makes things a little bit difficult here. Now they know, Jesus, going to try and find the Heaven player, but no, it's just going to be a massacre on the B side. And I do just want to take a second because I put this on Twitter, but I feel like it needs to be said live on the broadcast. Poppins is finally beating the allegations.
I mean, I actually had a theory that the older she got and the more she started thinking, the worse she got. When she was 16 in Katowice and just shot, I was like, that was the best Poppins we saw on LAN. But like in this map, is certainly stepping up. You did see some moments of jitter on the A bomb site when she was anchoring down, and that actually did raise quite a lot of question marks for me. But she's still fighting tooth and nail alongside Olga. And for MIBR, I said they haven't played Nuke very much in the last 3 months. What about the last 2 years as a core? And with Olga slotting into Goddess's role similarly, but shooting hard. Look at the scoreline. Look at how they're playing. This is the Dark Horse map that it feels like Sakura maybe have forgotten that MIBR used to be so good on this, and it's coming really to benefit them as they're only 3 rounds away from winning out their opponent's map pick and going on to Ancient, where regionally, against Furia, picked it 3 times, won it 3 times.
And interestingly, you know, a few seasons back that you bring up Ancient, that was the single most picked map in South America. I think that was 2, maybe 3 seasons ago. But we have seen this season a metric ton of Nuke in South America. Like, the teams are really loving this map. And while MIBR haven't been playing it much in officials, you gotta wonder, surely they've been playing it in scrims. They have to be, because every other team is playing it, so they've gotta have reps on it. And I always say, if you're losing in scrims, you're probably gonna do well in your officials.
Look at that from Danny. 1 minute and 43 seconds and already down the vent. Look at all of that map control. But Olga, once again, in this head-to-head against Fawx, the AWPer is always coming out on top as she picks up her primary weapon for the first time in this second half.
Fawx has got so much to do here, but Serendipity holding the ramp position, manages to get another. Fawx is doubled up with her. Poppins runs down Serendipity, knows that Fawx is there, so going to try to flush her out with that Molotov, but it's done a ton of damage. But eventually it does force her off of that position and gives Poppins an opportunity to start making her way down towards this B site. The bomb will get planted, but it's 2 versus 4, and we have a bleeding Poppins suffering now, trying to find some space.
Look at just all the utility for Sakura. They've got everything at their disposal. MIBR, however, do have the complete primary zone of Vent and Secret, so now they're dropping their utility to make sure that Sakura can't come out ramp. Miss Molly from Poppins, so that's going to be massive.
And that's Fawx first through the door, so Poppins has to play a little bit more safe here. Smoke comes down to try and give a little bit of space, but STX gets the kill through the door onto Danny. Holy! Poppins stops the defuse, but I don't think she's bought enough time. So Sakura, it's taken them a minute, but they're finally in the second half.
Yeah, that's actually a really tough pill to swallow for MIBR because that 2 versus 4 had legs to it. They just don't get the utility down on ramp to impede the encroaching players. Sakura with the pace, that's the main reason why they won that round, because they just went. They went through the smokes, they went through the utility. It didn't phase them, and as you mentioned, first round for Sakura, the pressure's on them. It's their time to shine. They are trailing by 5. It's their map pick. And if we go on to Ancient with MIBR in the front seat, thinking on the 5th time of asking, Poppins and Younger will be making it to an ESL Impact LAN Grand Finals.
Oh, let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. Still only map 1. We got some time here. And Sakura have started to give themselves a little bit more of a footing into this. 2 rounds between MIBR and map number 2, but Sakura certainly going to have something to say about that. Take a slower approach to this round. None of the crazy aggression. Remember like 2 days ago when Nuke stood in his Nook and told us about how they take their first contact within the first 28 seconds on average? This has been slow from Sakura. This has been surprisingly slow.
Especially on the T side, they were slow, but look at this. This is a very different play. Olga getting flashed into Garage. STX, though, tucks, and Olga doesn't clear her effectively. Once again, for the 3rd time in a row, Olga dies outside, and her merry troops need to make it work in a 4 versus 5.
That's devastating because she was full blind as well. There was an opening there for Olga to get that opening kill. But as you said, doesn't clear effectively, doesn't manage to get that very important opener, and leaves MIBR in a tough spot. No one's watching Poppins back. Poppins isn't even watching Poppins back. And that leaves them with only 3 players left. Empathy tucked into the corner, gets the first, but the rest of her teammates there, ready and waiting to do a little bit of cleanup on aisle A site.
And it's really, really good to see a round on the CT side as we delve deeper into this map that Fawx had nothing to do. She didn't get a kill, didn't throw any utility. That was a round won out by the Riflers. And this was one of the main win conditions I mentioned for Sakura right at the beginning, was them raising their floor. They have individually 2 of the best players in the whole scene, and Fawx now contending for top 2, maybe even the best AWPer in the whole of ESL Impact. Empathy, she's having the anti-MJ game. Unfortunately ill, but that's normally the 2 players you rely on. And so far in this LAN, in the first 2 BO1s, the weight was being spread, especially STX, who stepped up massively. She's always been the 3rd fragger on the team, but we didn't see that on a consistent basis online. However, in this LAN, she stepped up massively, and she has to, right? Because she plays very active roles in the team, and when you have someone in those roles, they can't be doing badly, and so far she hasn't. And this floor needs to be raised in this map, but she just gets run down by Poppins.
It's a great flash to initiate that, and Danny playing from site, doing absolute wonders, the miracle maker for this squad. I was about to talk about Gabby and how she hasn't really had an opportunity to show us what she's made of, but Danny has certainly stepped up, and well, you know, Gabby gets the last kill of the round, so slowly starting to work her way back into this one. A very impactful timeout coming from the MIBR squad, and you can see spirits very much high at the moment.
The 2nd tactical pause called by Landon, and after both of those tactical pauses, a very obviously distinctive, thought-out round from MIBR that has just dominated. 5 opportunities now at a map point to win out on their opponent's map pick and go on to Ancient.
Time to lock in for both of these 2 teams. Empathy does just that while fully blind. Takes out Olga. A great flash gives Danny an opportunity, and Gabby follows up. So 3 versus 3 on the site. Sprays through the smoke. Poppins, you monster. The numbers advantage now for MIBR. The bomb still hasn't been planted, though. There's still that little bit of paranoia, that understanding that they haven't cleared enough to be comfortable. Gabby gets shut down. Younger now has spotted out one and will get that kill to come through. The bomb has slipped down the vent. Ooh, it's come back up the vent. STX caught alone, pops out the vent and gets mowed down. And MIBR, what a performance from this Brazilian squad. It's an amazing feeling for us as the South American regional casters. It's an amazing feeling for them and for the entirety of Brazil. But for Sakura, on their map pick, maybe back to the drawing board?
Has to be. And for MIBR, the team that was opportunity to get to that final hurdle. We know there's difficulties in the camp when it comes to health, but outside of Fawx, it was a no-show. That was a one-woman show, and especially as an AWPer heading on to Ancient, that's going to be a lot more difficult to replicate. Ancient is not an AWPer-friendly map, notoriously, so I don't suspect we're going to be seeing a Fawx 4KD at the end of the half, and that's why we need to see someone like Empathy regain some of that firepower that we've been seeing for 2 years, and she's already kicked it off with an opening kill.
All right, Raven now alone on the site, has to play that anchor position, has already been circumvented by Poppins trying to find the kills there, but does get run over. That's going to leave Poppins in a position to get that bomb planted. The last vestiges of Sakura making their way in from the CT spawn, but Younger has spotted the ball, has calmed it over. Younger herself gets run over, but MIBR have to just play for a bit of time. Dear God, they can't make it happen. Sakura, a beautiful retake from them with only 3 alive, and they get themselves their first pistol of the series.
Okay. MIBR, they had the post plants. I thought they were going to have the fortitude, but obviously, once again, Fawx with a multi-kill, because why not? Just had a very slow CT side, which is slightly contradictory to go 20 and 5 on the T side AWPing, and then get 3 kills in the second half, one of which came from the pistol round. So, yeah, slightly contradictory, but it's still then very good to see Fawx going into this second map and still firing on all cylinders. I mean, fundamentally, the win potential, the win condition isn't going to be Fawx. It's going to be the others around her and the floor being raised. But if you still have her doing those monstrosity plays, does help.
Now, MIBR with a bomb plant. I like this. They've gone for the heavier util buy. We'll keep it with just the Tech 9s here. Say I like it, right? It's a bit of a coin flip. This is an aggressive team. It's a Brazilian team. It's what we come to expect from them. So let's see if it does pan out. The first bits of utility already come through. STX has been chipped away a little bit, but takes the closer angle. Poppins ready and waiting while Full Blind takes her down. The one Galil they brought into this round, getting those results. They've cleared out the site. The bomb will get planted. And now they just have to hold the line. But we said this in the previous round. All they had to do was buy a little bit of time, and they weren't able to make it happen. So now, can they make it different this time? Danny, a beautiful kill there, but not too much more to be done. Poppins is being a hero. Younger to get the final 2. And we have an economic reset. MIBR bite back.
There you go, and that is so difficult as the CT side now to be staring down the barrel of losing your conversion round. Because for the T side, they can kind of get away with it. They get a bomb down, get a little few hundred extra bucks, get a Galil out. You're going to look at the CT side, and we're going to be seeing Tech 9... Oh, sorry, not Tech 9s. They can't buy those. 5.7s, MP9s at a most. This is a very difficult situation for Sakura, who are on the back foot because they've lost their map pick, and also just simply put, going onto a map that they are not too comfortable on. It isn't in their repertoire or the main 4 maps, let's say. So there's a lot of signs pointing towards an MIBR victory, but I don't want to count my chickens too early. Naturally, as we have been in these similar situations with this Brazilian squad, and they haven't made it to the finals, but right now they've got their opposition exactly where they want them, and it definitely helps when Poppins, with that youthful exuberance, is topping the charts in the first map, 22 and 14, 104 ADR, certainly coming alive more so in the second half, and has already brought that steam onto Ancient.
Yeah, really impressed with Poppins' resurgence here. Looking forward to giving a potentially a congratulatory hug later. Didn't get the opportunity to hug her earlier today, and she yelled at me for that, so...
I've given her too many, oh, I'm sorry, hugs. Over the last year, like over the years. Katowice, Valencia, you're seeing them doing well, and then, oh.
I feel too bad doing the, oh, I'm sorry hug, you know? I'm just kind of like the shoulder tap. There,
just
there.
like a unlucky.
Yeah. We'll get him next time, champ. Well, this is next time.
It would be poetic on the final chapter. They finally break the curse.
It would be wonderful. I know, obviously, their supporters are live, proud, loud in the audience.
I'm just constantly hearing them.
I know.
I actually don't understand how a person can be that loud, but I respect it so much.
Absolutely. Oh, okay. It's a nice little bit of aggression here in towards mid from the stack. They get that little bit of space available to them. There is a trade back here. So much damage being done. And Poppin
Okay.
sprays down. You know, I thought that was 3, but Younger stole 1. Okay, never mind. Ultimately, however, it is, of course, the round going the way that we expected that it would. And Sakura now at a 2-round deficit, need to start waking up a little bit here. You know, you mentioned it a couple of times, but to really drive that point home, Sakura have 3 really heavy hitters, and then they've got like the supportive players that help to enable those heavy hits. And when one of your heavy hitters has been smacked down by a flu, it does leave you in a really precarious spot. And while Fawx has tried her best to kind of make up for that deficit, you pointed it out, this is not really the map where she's realistically going to get that same kind of value.
And especially with STX, who started off this event so well, not necessarily being as heated on Nuke. When you look at this B bomb site, Raven barely even got like a couple kills. STX struggling. That's a dangerous B bomb site. And look at this from MIBR. They hear all of this aggression over towards Cave. They try and then isolate the jewels onto Long. Fawx with a rifle still able to put pen to paper, but as Younger trades and plants the mollo, I was going to say, going to get the bomb down, but her teammates are so far away, and this feels very discoordinated for MIBR.
This is a really weird round. They still don't have control of the bomb.
It's
still in main. Like, what is, okay, you know what, Poppins, if you just kill everyone, you don't actually need the bomb,
bullets.
but she gets put down. Gabby and Younger, the last 2 left alive. They've only got 5.
Okay.
Never mind. They have exactly what they need.
I just don't. That's such a bad round.
We've had it wrong all along, Freddy. Counter-Strike is not about the bomb. It's about the kills. It's about the stats. My pug teammates were right.
I was just watching them walk up ramp, and I was like, yeah, that's actually a super nice reaction to you hearing 2 players take towards Cave. They isolate Fawx, and then I look back at the minimap, and I'm like, where's Poppins and Gabby? Why is the Poppin despawn? So 100%, someone's got someone's got the wrong idea there. Someone's maybe overcooled or whatever. And regardless, the fact that that is the B type of round for MIBR, their B game, and they're still able just to brawl their way out, that's not normally something you can say against Sakura. Teams normally can't brawl through them, and MIBR just have.
Put Sakura down in a very uncomfortable spot again. Nasty little HE there.
Will they clear STX now, though?
There's a world. I think you have to. I think you have to be aware of that possibility, because Sakura do like to play a little bit cheeky. And there you go, Olga, ready and waiting.
Great.
It's read into. I mean, we've already spoken about the MIBR coach and clearly how much work has been put into this. We spoke about Ink and how he did like 9 hours of anti-stratting. I think we would be remiss if we didn't say the MIBR coach probably putting in a fair bit of effort as well. So they knew exactly what to expect coming into this day. They've had a decent amount of tape to review. And on their own map pick now, they're looking very strong. Sakura, something's got to give here.
Yeah, extremely accoladed player over in Brazil. Landon maybe hasn't been on the tip of everyone's tongues for the last couple of years, but he's played for the home names of Tempo Storm, Pain in international, maybe not tier 1 events, but international events. He's got that playing experience, which if we are comparing and contrasting the coaches, Ink, he has got playing experience, but not quite to that same level. And we already saw from the tactical pauses called on Nuke, after every single round Landon called a pause, there was a fantastic call on the back of it. This is a very important gun round, as it's the first that Fawx bring out the AWP, and MIBR, they could just be running away with this first half.
You know, as the resident weeb, I should mention, you know, Naruto taught us hard work often beats talent and experience, and I think that Ink has certainly proven his prowess in that regard, but there's still an uphill battle to go here if he's going to get these ladies back into the game, get their heads back into the game. Well, it's STX to open it up, but Olga trades it back. Now they know that there's presence in towards this mid position. Olga spotted out 1, is weary of a potential second, also constantly checking for Jaguar, but the timing is just not where it needs to be, and Olga does eventually get shut down. Serendipity sprays through. Poppins and Gabby fall like dominoes, and Younger is the last one remaining. She's been spotted out, she's been found, and she's been forced to potentially just back away, hold on to this AWP, and allow Sakura to take this second round.
Another very discombobulated round from MIBR. big boy word. They got away with it in the previous gun round. They definitely didn't here. There was so much early utility dealt to them by Sakura's utility. Great early nades on lane and also in middle. But MIBR, it was just everyone trying to take a fight, but they're not really together. So a big round for Sakura, finally winning out on the rifles. And for Younger, a bit of damage and a bomb plant is what the Doctor will have ordered. Has a smoke, has a mollo, and has the read on empathy. Does this have legs to it? Because she knows also that Fawx is over towards Temple.
She's at least gotten that bomb down, but the reposition, oh, the sound of the gun. Oh my God, the quick scope. 1 versus 2. She knows where Fawx is because she heard that shot fired. Molotov comes out, and yes, that does stop her from repositioning. Okay, Fawx. Spidey sense tingling, a random shot through the smoke does connect and allows her to clutch that round, but maybe got a little bit too close for comfort in that one. Still, a bomb planted, MIBR will be okay with that.
Potentially a bit of a tilter for Younger. Hits 2 really nice shots, isolates the individual duels, and then she gets spammed for a smoke by an orb. But in 1v4, damage and a bomb plant would have been ideal. She gets both of those. So there's silver linings amidst that. I'm looking for more of a cohesive unit for MIBR going into this next gun round. And that's going to be the case as Olga and Poppins storm their way through middle, as Danny also takes all of the control towards Jaguar with the fast mollo. That is a lot of map control very early on for MIBR, but with Sakura, they were already set up in a position to go, you can have that map control. We're going to play with extremities, as Fawx is actually in a double up with empathy over towards A main, and Sakura are just blocking on the B bomb site.
Actually, really good damage done in those final moments, because if they win this round, Sakura is in some trouble. After winning that previous round, all that lost streak bonus is gone. You've got 3 players, in fact, with less than $100. A round win here for MIBR could be a serious, I mean, they're already on a little bit of a snowball, but that could just be kind of the final nail in the coffin for this half. You can see now they're certainly thinking about it, realizing that it could be a very important one. With 3 players strong towards this B site for Sakura, so a lot to try and battle through, but they are playing off-site. They're expecting a little bit more aggression on the site breach. The high-low stands supreme as Danny falls by the wayside. They're not expecting the second player, so Olga good for 2. The site's now opened up. They've laid down the utility to give them the space to move in, but Serendipity catches Gabby on the rotate. Brings it back to 3 versus 3. Younger sits her down, and the bomb will be planted. The last 2 players now need to start moving their way in. A nice little nade to do a little bit of damage. Oh, Poppins right on the end of the plant manages to actually get it before burning alive, and that is massive because now time is on their side. Yes, there's a kit available, but they just need to play off of each other. Younger gets that kill onto Fawx and empathy. She's not feeling her best. Can she step up despite all odds? No, she cannot. And it's Younger to clutch the round, and it's Younger to get them one more.
No MJ flu game for empathy, and also no consecutive rounds for Sakura, only winning out in isolation. And even though the going got tough, the individuals of MIBR pulled them out of a sticky situation, especially with Younger. I'm superbly impressed with the performance she's providing in this series, as she certainly has been struggling, I'd say, in the last year, to be honest. And especially on that Fergie land, she was the lowest rated player in her team, and from going to, similar to Carr on Furia, they were battling for the best player in Brazil for a number of years. And unfortunately, with just how the way of the game went, they suffered from that. Right here on the big stage, looking to get into her first ever ESL Impact Grand Finals. It's crazy to think that they've never made it. And they're certainly, as of now, suggesting that they will.
It's really nice to see Younger stepping up as well, because a lot of our conversation in the previous map was like Fawx and Olga. That was kind of where all of the attention
Olga's still
was. There. No, Olga is still there, but it wasn't Fawx Younger, it was Fawx Olga. Now we actually have a compensation for Younger, which is
Very
great.
fast.
Finally, we're seeing some of that speed that we've been waiting for. They know it's an anti-eco, they want to take full advantage. Empathy does manage to spam away and get Olga down, but the site has been run over. Spam through the smoke, not connecting, unfortunately, in the last couple of players here. An MP9 in hand. See if they can maybe get a little bit of cash. Fawx, unfortunately, can't get anything done, and Raven opts for the retreat. MIBR will go up to 7. This is what I was saying about that last round and how the economy looked. That could have been the final nail in the coffin. 7 rounds now for MIBR, a 5-round lead. Only 4 remain in the half. Can this turn around?
This is just utter domination. And the only rounds that MIBR have lost, you look at and you think they lost themselves.
Yep.
This is such an oppressive position to be. 7-2. MIBR, a 5-round lead. And sky's the limit in this first half. And this is exactly how we prophesized it. If Nuke was not going to go the way of Sakura, Ancient's definitely going to be a very low probability of success. I can hear Sakura though. At least there's fans for the North Americans in Sweden. Also, look at this from MIBR. They're just going to do the exact same play they did in the anti-force buy.
And this time around, there isn't a scratch of resistance for them. Oh, Empathy's beaten the Molotov, has managed to get a double spray down, follows it up with a third. She can't retreat because of the Molotov, but there's a smoke there to give her a little bit of respite. She's done exactly what she needed to do. It's a 2-player advantage now for Sakura. That timing has done everything, and Danny has a miracle to mount, can't do it, loses the bomb. Younger's all alone, and well, she's been phenomenal, but this time around, Empathy does get the better of her. I think at some point maybe she heard us and she was like, shut up.
That's the flu buff. That's the flu buff. That is the first time in this tournament that I've seen an Empathy round. And I don't quite know how she gets all 5 there. Obviously, the first 3 were the most difficult, and then she was just swinging. And you can see Fawx is like, thank you, thank you. Someone is finally playing up to my level.
Oh.
And that is the 2 star players of Sakura lighting up the scoreboard. Issue is, they've yet to win a round in consecutive manner.
Oh, they keep losing this fight towards jungle. It's been a bit of a tough one for them. Sorry, not jungle, Jaguar. It looks like we're going to posture A one more time. Empathy this time. She was the stalwart in the last round. We replicate those results here once again as all the utility starts to come out. She gets flashed off of her position. Serendipity gets shut down, but Empathy activates. Double kill. And there's only 1 player left. Gabby's retrieved the AWP. She's like, I don't want to fight this. Oh, maybe she does, but can't connect the shot. She's not the AWP, unfortunately. A little bit of damage would have been nice. But there's the Empathy we've been waiting for.
Yeah, the drive now has been reignited. And also, Sakura are able to play off the maybe negligence of MIBR. Fawx just sitting in CT, completely uncontested. No smoke, no flash. She's able to provide overwatch and coverage while her riflers reign supreme. We now head into the final round of the half. It looked like MIBR were going to be running away with it, but for the first time in a while, Sakura able to win out consecutive rounds, certainly the first time on Ancient.
One round left. This half has flown by in the blink of an eye. For the first time, MIBR looking very uncomfortable with what they bring to the table here. So the 7-5 repeat from our first map does feel like it's on the cards. Danny playing around this smoke. No one biting. No one running into her. She doesn't instantly die this time. I think it's more of just kind of a insertion to see if anyone gets kind of cheeky and she can take an advantage. Meanwhile, bomb starts making its way over.
Oh
Dear God, they line up for her. And the repeat from Gabby just gets shut down. Empathy has control of the bomb, control of the A site. No one is moving past this woman today. 16-7, she's top fragging. The conversation about feeling unwell is no longer a factor because she's done absolutely everything to keep Sakura alive in this first half. A repeat 7-5 scoreline, and I can't wait to see what they bring in the second.
You're like in-house still.
They didn't smoke bucket molly. Care mid.
But A,
They're
util,
smoking A,
util, fast A,
util.
util.
I flash left side. First smoke left side.
Breaking again.
Shoot at A.
Flashing over.
Flashing over
Danny's
here.
there. All there. All there. Danny's there.
4v2, 4v2. Tight.
I could pop.
Upper alive, upper alive. Up big. We're trying to up CT.
They haven't planted yet.
I naded big.
Offer, offer.
left.
I'm holding temple.
I'm gonna swing on Raven.
Nice!
Oh my god, Lucy. Oh my
Dude,
god,
nice round.
Lucy.
Nice round, Lucy.
Thanks. Send that over there.
I already bumped her.
Driving in my car, destination unknown. I can't escape the feeling that I'm all alone. Yeah, yeah. You used to be my best friend, now you're just someone I know. You used to be my everything, how we ever let it go, I don't know. Your face is in the rear view, and I'm looking behind. And I've lost count of all the tears I've cried. All that glitters isn't gold. Lost my faith in the fortune told. Driving in my car, destination unknown. Yeah, yeah. You used to be my best friend, now you're just someone I know. Yeah, yeah. Hey, you used to be my everything, how we ever let it go. These days passing by so slow. How did we ever let it go? You used to be my best friend, now you're just someone I know. I don't know. Someone I used to know. Driving in my car, destination unknown. I can't escape the feeling that I'm all alone. Yeah, yeah. These days passing by so slow. How did we ever let it go? You used to be my best friend, now you're just someone I know. Someone I used to know.
Some people say that empathy is as good as God. I think she's a better player than that. 11 of her 17 kills coming in the final 3 rounds of that first half. She is blazing a path of desolation. If she can continue that into the second half, we could have the conversation of a third map. And this pistol round, Younger, she's been run down.
This is more like the 20-second first kill that we were expecting, or 28 seconds. Not the first blood per se, but they've certainly drawn some blood as they march their way through towards that A side. It's a nasty little split. MIBR have done well to at least survive, keep 5 alive, but 5v5 retakes are just not the ideal scenario to be trying to come into this with, and they're setting up a flank of their own.
This feels like such an advantage to Sakura. There's no kid for MIBR, they're low HP, and look at these primary zones that they hold, and oh my god, the glass is shattering.
Danny and Gabby get those openers. Now they have some space to move on towards the site. Donut is a pretty free rotation in as well, so they'll be able to meet up once again. But Fawx with the double says absolutely not. Now Poppins has to come up massive and does just that. One player remaining. Empathy versus Danny, and it's Empathy with yet another 3K.
She's done it again. She's done it again. That now means in the last 4 rounds, 14 of her 21 kills. She is just doing everything. Oh, sorry, my maths has been very mismanaged. Ignore that.
Never do maths on stream.
That's why you never do maths on stream. Yeah, 14 kills in the last 4 rounds for Empathy. That is simply ridiculous. I will say, though, it got made a lot easier. Fawx getting a double due to a missed flashbang from MIBR. Those players coming out of tempo, Fawx shouldn't have been able to see them. So that's a double that Fawx shouldn't have been able to get. Regardless, though, Empathy currently is the queen of Ancient. And Danny is, though, rewriting the history books.
History is written by the victors. So we'll see who comes out on top of this one. That was also Sakura's first pistol round this series. So a pretty important one for them to kind of deal with the precedent. That is an unfortunate interaction. Gabby, I'm not sure how she doesn't get that kill there. We're not setting up the best post plant here, but despite that, it's good enough. Sakura up to 7, evened out the scoreline. And I also just wanted to point out, so Empathy has gone 3 for 0 on opening duels and is sitting at about 5 multi-kills this map, I think. It's just been so many rounds of just going absolutely nuclear.
Yeah, it's the 4 multi-kills in those 4 rounds, which added up to 14 kills out of her 20 that she had at that time. Kind of mental, but it's also a positive to then see that Sakura are able to win a round, regardless of Empathy getting a kill or not. That is a big yikes, though, from Gabby. A big yikes indeed. And she's having a rough game. It's not getting any easier. Currently, on the MIBR side, there's a very kind of cohesive unit of Younger, Danny, Poppins, Olga, and Gabby over towards A and mid. I'm worried that that's going to be a point of weakness. And Sakura, they will have definitely identified it. This tactical pause, we know what Landon's been able to do in these moments. It is going to be just an eco, so that pause wasn't necessarily for this round, but it also gives Olga time to communicate her thoughts. Like that 30 seconds was for Landon, and now Olga kind of has like an eco of a French tactical pause, as one might say. But that also will give time for Ink, the coach of Sakura, to go like, I think we're going to start pressuring towards A and mid.
Getting some free space in towards mid as well. Of course, this is just a little bit of a stack with the pistol, so not expecting too much to come out of it. There's an exploratory mission over towards A, but Bomb's heading towards B, so it really doesn't make too much of a difference. Just trying to get a little bit of a feel for the history of Ancient for Sakura, because they've played it a handful of times, but have been kind of hit or miss on it. Do manage to get a little bit of damage done here. I've picked up a free Galil. Of course, it's all good to do that. Younger looking for an opening here. Gabby gets another kill.
Wait,
hang on. This pistol round suddenly feels possible. Younger gets shut down. Unfortunately, the 2 players hand in hand. It's Olga with the Galil to get the kill. Now that dropped Galil gets handed over to Gabby. 2 versus 2 here. Yes, the bomb is planted, but timing might be a bit of a problem. The 2 players split up. Olga leaves her teammate Gabby out to dry, and she has to now 1v2. They know exactly where she is. A bit of util to come out, but so many angles to press, so many angles to check, and it all falls apart. It felt doable, and they made the classic mistake.
I think it's very easy to point at that 2 versus 2 and be like, yes, fundamentally they split up, and I think they played that, they should have just played the buddy system. Regardless, though, that was just a full eco. And MIBR being able to claim 3 kills is definitely going to be beneficial for the economical damages going ahead into the future. We're getting a tech pause now, and that is not what you want to see. And it looks like there's an issue with Gabby. She's been having a very difficult game, and now doesn't look too happy, which I can't imagine is going to benefit her really whatsoever if she's not doing well and has tech issues. That's going to be very difficult for the mental. And also, we kind of slow down what Landon would have been saying in that tactical pause as we take a moment of respite as Sakura take the lead for the first time in this second map. And finally, MIBR's questions have been answered.
So I found what I was looking for. Sakura have not lost Ancient within the ESL Impact circuit.
It was close. They got very close against teams that I would consider beneath them, though.
Sure, but at the end of the day, it's the final result that truly matters. And this is a tenacious team. I think if anything is proven that, it's been the resurgence from map 1 to map 2. Showing that even when the chips are down, they're still able to kind of pull themselves towards themselves a little bit. Don't let the vibes get too gloomy. Make sure that they can keep themselves alive in this one. And they know that they have the potential, the power to come back in. And they've done just that. They now stand tall in a map that started off looking like it was going to be a very, very one-sided affair. But I do just want to say, we were talking about it during the halftime, and I wanted to give a little bit of time into the second half to see what MIBR do. But so far this map, while it looked dominant in the start, it hasn't exactly looked clean.
Yeah, I've been maybe disappointed is the word.
Not mad, just disappointed.
Yeah, I'm not angry with you. I'm just upset. When I looked at MIBR's T side, there was numerous rounds where I'm kind of watching from a third-person perspective, and I'm like, what actually was the game plan? Or also hitting similar spots and being like, well, that hasn't worked. You're going too quickly. The utility's not being put down in a corrective manner. It's these small micro mistakes. That's why the first half didn't end 8-4, 9-3. And in the second half now, even on the pistol as well, miss flashbang. That allows Fawx to double down. But going into our first gun round, Younger with the AWP pals, and even though Sakura are running very quickly on an empty open A bomb site, MIBR, they've already got all of mid control, so that allows them to instantly rotate in, and now Younger, tested, unfortunately, very instantaneously gets battered down.
They've done so much chip damage here. They've made Sakura incredibly fragile, but Sakura now have fought back and have done exactly the same to MIBR. They were going to want to come into this retake with almost full bars of health, but they've eaten a lot of damage and has left them in a very uncomfortable spot here. Now Poppins will fall by the wayside as well.
It's through
and with
smoke.
only 3 players left, it's not even the first time. That was another note that we actually had. Empathy loves smoke spray. That's like her favorite thing. And well, there you go.
It bleeds into the other team mates, STX, getting through a smoke. A round for MIBR that was set up for success. When you look at Ancient and when you have these T sides going very fast onto the A bomb site, ooh, okay, Danny survives, Empathy dies. Even though they get onto the A bomb site very quickly, the CT sides do have a big advantage when they take early mid control and early lane control. That's exactly what happened from MIBR, so that means they were instantly able to rotate in towards Donut. You can see here, Poppins able to fight them as they're ingressing onto the bomb site. Issue is, Younger then takes an isolated duel out Temple. She gives her a life away, very unnecessary, and alongside that, the smoke spam was going against the Brazilians. So a very sticky retake gone awry mid-pop for the T side. It's chaotic. Everyone's blind. Younger isolated out in the open. It's just 1-for-1 duels, but Gabby needs to step up to the plate.
Oh, Poppins turns from the flash too early and ends up getting flashed for it, and unfortunately leaves her teammates in a rough position, but Olga brings it back to doable, brings it back to winnable as she drops the bomb in mid. And Empathy, she was meant to be the lurk. She was meant to be the one going on the exploratory mission and catching rotations, and now with dangerously low health and has to come up against Olga, who has been a beacon for the MIBR squad. With just about a minute left. There's time here for Empathy to just bleed away the clock a little bit, and Olga going for a reposition here. This is interesting, taking our eyes off of the bomb, so it's going to become very reactionary, but if she's quick enough, she might actually get eyes on bomb from red, and I don't think that that rotation will have necessarily been read into. Hey. Oh, it will be. Empathy checks it. Doesn't go straight for the bomb, though. Has pushed up a little bit. Is Olga expecting the slightly more advanced position? Dear God, it's a game of chess. It's a game of cat and mouse, and it's Olga who pounces in the final moments to clutch that round, and MIBR will find their first in the second half.
There's a new champion on the server. Empathy has been the name on the tip of everyone's tongue so far on Ancient, and is the main reason why Sakura are currently sitting with the lead. But finally, Olga, who has been putting star-studded performances on this whole weekend, is literally the main reason why MIBR are simply alive in the first place. The reason why the best team in the world has been knocked out in dead last place. Steps up once more into her Colosseum, the Gladiator Jewels. And MIBR looking to reset Sakura and reclaim the advantage.
Ooh. Nice little re-swing there onto Poppins. Bit of damage done here for Sakura. Couldn't really ask for too much more in a round like this. This will be MIBR evening out the scoreline. There's a possibility here for an overtime. Might be a bit early to make that call, but
It's very early to make that call.
you know, it's become a bit of a meme with me. Everyone seems to think I love the overtimes, and to be fair, I do love a good overtime.
You're a masochist.
Sometimes.
All the rounds.
Also a
all
little
the
bit of a
maps.
sadist because I drag you along with me. Bit of column A, bit of column B.
Is this winnable for Serendipity?
Yes. Will she though?
That's another question. Looking to isolate a duel on Danny. Maybe doesn't realize that Gabby was behind. They lined up. They lined up.
If that were empathy.
Got scared. Got terrified. Serendipity, normally the player on this squad who isn't making these crazy moments, but is more of a consistent factor. You see her playing positions on CT side like B anchor on Mirage. And she maybe isn't getting crazy multi-kills, but is quite consistent and is actually a big part of raising the floor that you would not see outside statistics. Unfortunately, a 1 versus 3 is a bit too much. And for Sakura, this is a dicey point in time. A tactical pause being called for them as they have lost the lead. They had their opportunity to try and fight forward for a third map. But instead now, they've been reset, and MIBR looking to be the first team to breach double digits. And even though it's not been the cleanest of maps, they can still go into the grand finals with their head held high in a 2-0 win.
Yeah, you keep screaming, crowd. Both of these teams need that little bit of an extra buffer. Not a buffer, a boost.
Wow.
Firing gallery.
Wow.
And
Poppins'
eco firing
mom,
gallery.
even though it's an eco, I can guarantee Poppins' mom
There
is
she is.
screaming. There she is.
There's the whistling.
Vamos.
Yeah.
Vamos.
Vamos. Biased casters, by the way. Always nice to get to have the South American representation.
I don't want to count Sakura out whatsoever, because this is a potentially a very similar point in time as the first half. And then guess what? Empathy went triple kill, quad kill. Fawx had a 4 KD at the end of the first half on Nuke. We know what these individuals can do, and SDX so far in this tournament has also provided as that third layer. This is their time to shine. It's do or die.
I like this position from Poppins, though. Okay, Raven just walks into Younger's crosshairs. There's that lurk offline. Poppins now in a good position. Oh, doesn't play
They
anti.
over-rotated.
And that's going to shut her down. There's a possibility here for a wrap. The problem is, look at where STX is. There's going to be wraps on wraps here. And Empathy gets that first kill. Serendipity to keep it really tight. Olga's still alive, still almost full HP here, so has a good opportunity. She's wrapped around. Does Serendipity have any idea? She doesn't. She's not looking for it. Olga's going to get in behind her. At some point, she has to turn around. It's a game of ring-a-ring-a-rosy. And Younger's just waiting for someone to get flushed into her crosshairs. Oh my god, they keep missing each other. Ships in the night, but it's Olga who spots first, finds that first contact, opens up the site, and the defuse can begin. STX now has to panic her way into the site and cannot make it happen. Just in the nick of time, MIBR get their 11th.
Talk about leading by example. Talk about impact.
Vamos.
Olga winning out clutches. Olga making those heads-up plays. It was a misread from MIBR. They over-rotated onto the A bomb site. Raven sold them a dream. Poppins isolated all by her lonesome in a very aggressive position. That should have been a 10-10 scoreline. But the opponents had a say in the matter, and Olga had a say in the matter. Tech9s to try and avoid map and series points.
I think Olga's pathing there is going to live rent-free in my brain for the rest of my life. That was very entertaining to watch, and unfortunately, like you said, it's just Tech9s.
She's
they
just going. She's running left, right. Good night.
She's having a really fun day here on LAN. And you've got to understand where the excitement comes from, right? You were saying it, to get into a grand final for the first time ever, to have an opportunity. Furia just did it. We talk about why ESL Impact is so important for creating role models for women in Counter-Strike. Now this is kind of that, but also kind of not, because it's also the rivalry. So you have a South American team has done it, we can do it too. Also Furia did it, and we're kind of not okay with that. We want to be the ones to do it. So that's what makes this so special, I think, for MIBR. But for Sakura, just getting into the final hasn't been enough.
Olga, this is her 6th playoffs appearance. This will be her 4th finals appearance. She's yet to lift the trophy, but with performances like this, you sure as hell guarantee that she might just do that. Poppins with a dastardly double, looking for her first ever grand final appearance. Only 2 survive for Sakura.
2 players are all that stand between MIBR and a grand finals performance here. STX and Fawx desperately trying to have another crack at the grand final. It's going to take nigh on a miracle as Olga gets the shot through the wall there. Now Fawx knows where at least one of them is placed. That anti manages to survive the flash, but they're coming in for her. They're running her down. They're running her over. Sakura will go home, and MIBR will go to the grand final. We have our first grand finalist here, and it will be a South American representative.
They've been waiting so long. You can see what it means. Younger and Poppins.